Bitcoin walking a fine line right now. As we sit here, we anticipate the next move for Bitcoin. All we can do is wait and watch the charts, but also watch for certain confirmations, bearish and bullish. In this video, I'm going to break down those exact areas, discuss what I'm watching on the Bitcoin charts and what might be next, and kind of some key data playing into potential downside, why to be prepared for it, but more importantly, why it's not a bearish thing, even if there is some downside consolidation, further downside consolidation. But before we jump into these important Bitcoin charts, please hit the subscribe, hit that like button for me, and let's cover today's kind of big news as we start the day. Tether to allocate 15% of its profit to purchase Bitcoin. Check this quick clip out from Tether real quick.
Tether, we share the vision of a world where Bitcoin is embraced and understood by all. That's why Tether is going to allocate up to 15% of our operating net profits every month to purchase Bitcoin in order to...
So up to 15% of net profits to purchase Bitcoin. Tether buys $222 million worth of Bitcoin to back its USDT stablecoin. As we do track Bitcoin charts and we try and just pivot from that crazy long bear market that we were in and we wait for the next bull market, because I don't think the bull market's here just yet. These are the type of headlines we want to see. This isn't a negative headline. This is stuff that's good for the crypto space. Cryptocurrency giant Tether on Wednesday said that it's going to purchase hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin to back the world's largest stablecoin. The company said it would invest 15%, or we should say up to 15% of its net profit into Bitcoin to diversify the reserves that back its USDT token, which aims to stick to a 1-to-1 peg to the US dollar. So I think it's important to note up to 15%. Even Bitcoin Wire over here, this is one of our projects we tweeted to allocate 15%. It's really up to 15%. So headlines kind of saying 15%, but Tether saying up to 15%. I think it's an important point, but more importantly, everybody, not only is the space looking for transparency from the government, from the SEC, while that's happening, I think the crypto space needs to go on the offense in terms of doing what it needs to do to hold itself accountable. And that's why I think this is a really good headline. This is a really positive headline for a crypto space. Wanted to cover it. Now we pivot to Bitcoin. We talk about what is going on with price. I just want to mention right off the bat, you all know, as we look at the weekly chart on pretty much every crypto chart, I'm extremely long-term bullish. That doesn't come without retracements and consolidations. This is a multi-year process, but there's certain things happening right now that I want to point out to you. First starts on just the technical analysis aspect. If you remember, if you've been watching any of my technical analysis on Bitcoin, we've been tracking this consolidation for Bitcoin, the breakout of this long-term upper trend line, this longer-term channel to the upside consolidation in this channel. We got the break out of the channel. We hit the target most recently, that was right around $26,000 or so. And now, if you look at this, Bitcoin falling right back into this rising channel that goes all the way back to, I believe it's November 2022. So we're back in that channel right now, and we're below the trend line, right? So that's a first kind of a warning sign. We need to see Bitcoin break back above that channel. And if we go to a daily chart, there's more context to that story. And so we also have this symmetrical triangle that we tracked, I believe in a recent video, which is Bitcoin. Here's a different way to look at this recent break below this longer term trend line, just this consolidation for Bitcoin in this triangle. We broke into the downside, right? So right now we're kind of in this pullback type of scenario where we're testing that trend line once again. Bitcoin's walking a fine line right now in that it needs to really break back into the apex of this triangle. This could be a busted triangle, meaning fake breakout to the downside. We're not going to hit the target to around 24,000, pull back into the apex, and we get a breakout to the upside target of around 33,500. Trust me, I want to see that happen. I know I talk about bearish targets a lot, but I want to see bullish moves. I'm like most of you, but I think when we start seeing just these moves of resistance at these lower trend lines and even kind of these macro trend lines, I think we just need to pay attention to potential downside. And all of that is really backed by the weekly. So if you look at the weekly chart, and this is where it really becomes kind of apparent, we were very bullish back here in 2019 at this kind of midterm swing high before consolidating. We were very bullish back here in 2016 before consolidating, meaning we're macro bullish at these areas, right? And there was something very special getting ready to happen from a cycle perspective. I think we're in a very similar scenario. We don't need to keep going up right now as much as we want to. There could be consolidation, but we could be putting in very bullish signals right here on the macro, meaning we do come down, and on the macro, we're continuing cycles. And the biggest thing, besides just the charts and the similarities of these charts from a technical analysis perspective, the biggest thing, and I just want to echo one more time, is this. This was an on-chain perspective from yesterday's video that I discussed, and I just want to bring it back to attention as we're looking at kind of the shorter-term TA and technical analysis. We're getting this realized price indicator being bullish. The last time we had this indicator was, in these previous cycles, it was bullish. But in yesterday's video, when those things happened on the weekly chart, we identified as a macro bullish signal, but on the short to midterm, we fell, right? And that happened in the previous cycles. And it even happened, and we covered it back here in 2013. I think it was 2012. So that's all happening right now on these charts. So there's room for downside as we are evaluating these shorter term just setups and these moves. Bullish would be Bitcoin, once again, as we just mentioned, breaking back into the apex of this consolidation structure. And we have the 20-day moving average around 28,000, the 50-day moving average around 28,500. We want to see Bitcoin flip that. To the upside, we'd be looking at a move of around 7 to 8% to just get back into the apex and above those moving averages and test that upper trend line of that consolidation pattern. And then if you go over here on this 6-hour chart, you kind of get a sense of, well, what would that be doing in terms of that longer term upper trend line? We'd be very clearly breaking back above that area, right? So 27,700 is that upper trend line resistance. And you can just see Bitcoin makes a move to the upper trend line of that symmetrical triangle. We're looking at around 28,800 or so. So that could be the move of separation we need to get back above so that Bitcoin can continue the trend to the upside. Targets to the downside though, 24,000 out of that symmetrical triangle. You go over here to the 6-hour chart. Once again, we have this Fibonacci. Look at this, the upper range of this higher low Fibonacci right around 24,000. So the lower range of that Fibonacci, and that's a swing low to swing high, lower range right around 22,000. $22,000, $24,000 would be, from a macro cycle perspective, commonplace for Bitcoin. Not sitting here saying, I think it's definitely going to happen, but there's a warning sign on the screen that's saying, hey, we're at immediate short-term resistance. If Bitcoin starts falling, those are the targets to prepare for. And for me, that is the simple reason why I do these videos, why I watch these charts, so I can just be mentally prepared for that move. That's it. I'm not here to predict or tell you or tell anybody or even tell myself what is going to happen, because I have no idea what's going to happen next for Bitcoin. I know what I want to happen. I prepare, and that's why I'm here doing these videos. Let me know your thoughts, everybody. Give us a follow. This is our new website, Bitcoin Wire. Just going to be providing all of this free, just valuable data in terms of Bitcoin Web3. I'm extremely excited about what's happening on Bitcoin outside of Bitcoin charts. There is so much happening, so much being built in terms of Bitcoin. BRC20 tokens launching right now. The space is ridiculous. So I'll put a link below. Follow Bitcoin Wire on Twitter. It means a lot to me as we get this going. It's going to be very fun tracking all of this going into the next bull market. I appreciate all of you. Hit the subscribe once again. Hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.